Nobody told me that at the time, 48, almost 50 years old, that Japanese animation would help me understand human behavior, my own included, better than some of the textbooks I have studied to become a therapist. But here we are, and I'm not mad about it. Not even a little bit. If you are new here, my name is Akenya Tan. I'm 50-year-old with locks and love fashion. I've been in the human service field in the for 20 years. I'm a blurb by choice, a director, a coach. I'm someone who spent the better part of her career studying how people think, how people hurt, how people heal. And I say all that so you understand. When I tell you that anime cracked something open in me, I am not taking that casually. I'm talking professionally, personally. And 2 years ago, I would have not been able to say any of this with this much confidence. So let me tell you how we got here. It started at Comic-Con 2024 in New York City. My brother, who I absolutely adore, had been going to a convention for years. And because I know who he is, I knew he was not going to take me somewhere I was going to not feel good. So I went. And I remember exactly what I had on. A t-shirt, bell-bottom ripped pants, a yellow purse guitar, my locks up, red Dixie looking funky, jazzy, cute, and I was feeling it, honey. But what happened when I walked through those doors was something I did not suspect it. Something in me lifted. Like, you know that feeling when you walk into a room and your whole body just exhale, like some part of you that has been holding on fire lets go? That what happened. And I want to be clear. I was not hiding who I was before that day. Always knew pieces of myself. I always knew I was a thinker, a love of color, an adventure, a deep conversation. But sometimes you do not fully know something about yourself until you are standing in the middle of it, as it happened to you, until you are surrounded by people and your whole body says, yes, this is also you. And that was Comic-Con that did it to me. It was not a revelation. It was a confirmation. People were fully themselves in that space, not performing for anyone, not shrinking, not explaining. The person who walked through that door was that character all day. Just for a photo, but all day. And that has been over 20 million people who have never once felt safe enough to be fully who they are. Here were thousands of people just living it freely and unapologetically. My phone was on 1% by the time I got home because I was so busy living in that space thinking about charging it. And that night I went home and did a deep dive. I started searching Black women in space or animated spaces in their 40s and 50s who love anime. Where do I even start? What do I watch? And when I found out that anime is not a one-stop shop, it is not one thing. Someone told me earlier on that this was important. Anime is it's just not for regular TV. If you love romance, it's anime for you. Mystery, they have it. Love, psychological thrillers, complex women needing complex stories, histories in action, which is me. It's all there. You don't have to watch what anybody else is watching. You follow what makes you think. You follow what resonates with where you already are. And that's exactly what I did. I truly discovered anime at 50, and I did not come into it for the trend of the hype. I came into it as a thinker, as someone who looked at the world through lived experiences, trauma, growth, and mental health lenses. And what I realized very quickly is that anime is just not entertainment. It's a perspective, storytelling that forces you to sit with things you may not always want to face. Shows like Attack on Titan, Demon Slayers, Death Note, they all hit differently, but they all carry deeper themes. Power, loss, justice, identity, you catch my drift, consequences. And when you watch through a mental health lens like I do, you start to see the patterns. You see how people respond to trauma. You see how power changes behavior. You see how belief systems sort of shape decisions. You see yourself, you see people, situations you've been in, or situations you've been observing, you have already lived through, and sometimes you see them clearly for the very first time. As a woman of color discovering anime at this stage in her life, I appreciate it so much differently. It becomes less about the action and more about the reflection. It feels like a classroom in some way, not because it is teaching you directly, but because it's showing you pieces of the world story. And if you are open to it, you will see how much of it connects back to everyday life. I'm considered for Death Note specifically. That's the one that did something for me. It's the very first one I actually watched, only because my brother, Hi, Dex. He does Death Note at Comic-Con. And it's a show about a young man who gets this power, and I'm not gonna really elaborate on it too much, to kill anyone who names he write in a notebook. I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys know that. And he decides, and he generally believes, that if he's doing the right thing, that he is making the world better. That end justifies the means. And watching that, I kept stopping, sitting back, because I recognized that's psychology, not the killing, but the justification part. The way someone can convince themselves and sometimes can convince you that what they are doing, what they are taking from you, what lines they are crossing is actually for the greater good. And I want to be clear, this is not just about clients. This is about everyday life, family, college, relationship, professional spaces. Anyone where someone is crossing their line so gradually, so sweetly, logically, that you do not see the line until you are already on the other side of it. Manipulation. Sometimes you do not see it until it's over. Definitely did not give it something new. It gave me a mirror for something I had already been seeing for 20 years. And did it in a way that was so vivid, honest, and unapologetic. I could not look away. That's what I mean. This is not just entertainment. This is a tool. And I wanted to listen to the women watching this who thinks it's too old for this. Who thinks anime is for young people. Who thinks the horror is not for her. I was at Comic-Con in New York City with people in their 50s, 60s, people in wheelchairs, people who hobbled and owned every single inch of that floor. There is no age limit in that space. There's never was. And there's no age limit on discovering something that feeds your mind and your spirit. One day I was at work, not so long ago, talking to a colleague I respect. I mentioned I had been watching anime when I was homesick. He looked at me and had like I had like 3 heads. Something shift. He sat with me that day for 30 minutes and like we just went back and forth with different movie scenarios and our take on it. Told me where to start, what to watch, what age to comment, and ad from because I was telling him how I was really new to it. Something opened up in that conversation that had not been opened up before. Not because we crossed lines, because I showed up as a full human being, and so did he. I being in a leadership role, him as a frontline worker, he seen that, wow, she's pretty dope. You know, this is what happens when you stop hiding pieces of yourself. People meet the real you, and the real you is more relatable, more connectable, more powerful than the version of you have carefully presenting. As you'll see, as I am 50, and I'm very proud to say that, and I have locks, and I'm a curvy plus size girl, and I'm very body positive. I'm a mental health professional still on my journey, director, coach, a traveler, a female sister, aunt, and I'm someone who went to Comic-Con and a Metallica t-shirt, a little guitar because I felt like herself than she did in years. And I am someone who watches anime on weekends. It is an entire human condition in every single episode. All those things are true at the same time. None of them cancel each other out. That's what reinvention at 50 actually looks like. Not starting over, not becoming someone else, becoming more of who you already were, and finally giving yourself permission to say it out loud. If this video resonates with you, and I want you to subscribe and stay in this playlist, Turning 50, a nitty shift and reinvention, because we are just getting started and I am having an amazing time doing this. We're going to keep having these conversations about who we are becoming, and we are allowing ourselves to enjoy and what it means to live your second life without any fucking apology. Come find me on Instagram at Kenya, and everything I have for you is wait at Standstill Kenya. All things are being a link in the description. I'll see you on the next one. This is a vibe check.